Hello and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant channel. My name is Kim and today I am going to be introducing a video, not necessarily doing it today. I am going to be making the woolly chick crochet robins pattern. So I bought this, it was at the Southern Wool Show in 2023. I didn't go this year because I've got so much yarn already, so many magazines, and I know the temptation would be too big, but I did go the year before. So whilst I was there, I saw the stand for Woolly Chick or Woolly Chic, and she had a lot of different packs. So they looked like these, this little bag, and it's got everything in it that you need to make the pictures on the front. So I have had a look at this, so it wasn't necessarily, it didn't look like that. Was that the picture on the front? No, it wasn't. The picture on the front was this. So the bag itself was £15, that's how much I paid for it. And as I said, you've got everything in there to make some robins. So when I first saw this, the reason I picked the robins is because I love robins. In my family, they are said to be quite lucky and they hold a lot of meaning. So that's one thing. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish filming this morning before I went to work. I had to leave pretty quick because I had to take my partner to work. So sorry if I'm repeating myself a little bit. So yes, it has everything in there, and I'm just going to show you what's in there now. So there's a bag of fluff. I don't know exactly how much, but it's a handful. There is some brown yarn. This feels like sock yarn. So 75% merino, 25% nylon. Again, I don't know how much is in here, but I will measure it and pop the measurement at the bottom just out of curiosity. There's two lots of yarn. These look slightly different. They're the same colour, they're woven differently. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, so I'm not sure why. Maybe one is to hang them up and one is to crochet with. This is the same sort of yarn as this one, so I'd assume these two are for the crochet and maybe the other one is to hang them up with. Yeah, so just looking at the picture, it does look as though it's red thread that is holding them up. And then there is some others. What have I done with that? So there's some white thread and some yellow. This is for the beak. The white, I'm not 100% sure what that's for, but I will find out. And there's a pony hook, which is 2.5, and this little bag, which I believe has the eyes in. Teeny tiny buttons. That's probably the best way I can show you for the moment. So teeny tiny. So those are the eyes, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 eyes, so enough for 4 robins. Again, so these are the instructions. So it's got the abbreviations on there. It has got some techniques on the back should you need them, and there are only 17 rounds on the body, 3 rounds on the tail, 2 rounds on the wings, which is really quick, and 2 rounds on the beak. It seems relatively easy. I probably won't do this tonight. I have finished work a few hours ago, and for some reason my head is just fried today, so I will probably give this a go in a couple of days. But it does seem, first off, fairly simple. There's nothing that is particularly draining, or it doesn't look particularly difficult to understand. Obviously I can't share the pattern because it's not mine, but yeah, my plan will probably be to make them individually, just to make sure that I've got enough yarn for 4. I would hate to make 4 bodies and then get halfway through the wings and realise that I've run out of yarn. That would just be absolutely gutting. So I'll probably make them one by one. Make the first one, measure out the yarn, make sure that I've got enough for 3 more, and then sort of batch make them, just so that it's easier. I find that much more simple to batch make them, because then you only have to read the instructions once, rather than reading like how to do the body, then do the wings, then the beak, for example, and then having to reread it again, rather than just doing 3 beaks once you've understood the pattern. But anyway, enough talking from me. I will see you on the flip side when I start making these. It is a couple of days later and I am just about to start. I've set the timer to 0. I am just about to start the stopwatch and get started. So I haven't finished the body yet. I'm about halfway through the stitches of the robin body. The main thing that I've got to say so far, 2 things. So the first is, instead of starting with a magic circle, which I must admit I'm not very good at, you chain 6 and use that as the magic circle. So there is a hole that I will either have to sew up because it looks a bit inappropriate, or I will cover that part with the red chest of the robin. And the other thing, just a really small thing, is that there weren't any stitch markers included, which I feel is quite important, especially when you're working with quite big numbers. Obviously there's quite a lot of increases, so to make sure that you were right without a stitch marker, you'd have to count the stitches every round, even on repeats, which personally I would struggle with. My attention doesn't last that long, so I might pass that on to the company who I bought the kit from, just so that they've got that information there for future use. But apart from that, it's really straightforward, just simple stitches, as with a lot of amigurumi. So single crochet, increases, decreases, that's it so far. So it's been 28 minutes, near enough 29 minutes. My hands are hurting. Another thing that I wanted to say is I have switched to the clover hook that I have, just because it's more ergonomic and it's nicer for my hands, whereas this was giving me cramp just due to the amount that I was sort of stretching my hand or my fingers. So I've switched to this, which is much nicer to hold and is helping. I'm still getting a bit of cramp in my hands, not gonna lie, but it's much better than working with this without a grip. So they're the 3 things that I've got so far, but I'm going to continue and show you once I've finished. And I'm just for a minute, I'm going to see whether the tail on the back of the robin and the wings on. Oh, so I've just read the instructions a bit further along, and at a certain point during the body, you actually switch yarn colours so that the body is actually attached. So it's good news and not so good news. I'm hoping that the tail will cover this. I might, what I'm going to do now is just move the end of the yarn outside so that I can sew up the hole if necessary. But that's quite cool that you crochet the tummy on straight away. That's a really good idea. It saves sewing in loads of ends and yeah, sewing really. Not that I don't like sewing, I love sewing. Cool, let me continue. So hopefully you can't hear my washing machine in the background too much. I just wanted to show you, so I finished the robin. I just need to sew up the hole in, looks a bit wrong. I won't say what it looks like, but you can probably tell. So I just need to close the hole on the tummy, and then I will sew up the back and then carry on with the rest of it, I guess. I think the next thing to make on the list is the tail, then the wings. So I'll check back in a bit. So I finished the body. Sit here. So the beak goes just above and the eyes go on top, obviously. This is the bum that I've sewn up. It doesn't look too bad. This is the tail. Now, personally, I'm not too fond of how big it is. I probably would have preferred something a bit smaller because robins, this for me reminds me more of a turkey tail, but I will put it on like the pattern suggests and see how it goes. We've got 2 wings. Now, the only thing again that I would say about the wings is it doesn't say exactly which way goes where. So I'm assuming where the decrease is, this is the top and this is the outside, if that makes sense. And this would go close to the body. And then I've got the beak as well, which is really cute. It's 3D. As I said, the only thing that is a little bit tricky is the main picture I've got to go on is this one, which, as you can see, it doesn't show exactly how things are attached. It doesn't show in too much detail, and it's quite a small picture as well, so sort of, you know, size of my little finger, there we go. So it's quite a small picture, which makes it a little bit more difficult to see exactly where things go and how they're positioned. There is also a picture on the front which has robins, I guess, in various positions, so maybe I can use that to help attach things. I'm going to use yarn to attach the different pieces of different wings and tails and things, and for the eyes I'm just going to use a normal sewing needle because the holes are very, very small. So yes, and then I've got a loop to add to the top so that we can hang it up as well. So I'm gonna give that a go and come back to you afterwards with how it went. So I have just finished. Here is the finished robin. So it's his face, his little wings, and his tail. So I've done it all by the book, exactly how it was said to do it. His tail is a little bit wonky, but I think I can probably unwonk it, if that's the word. He's pretty cute. I would say not that I was imagining much different. I think the pattern was overall very well written. The only thing that I did struggle with was the tail, because the instructions for it wasn't very clear on row 2. Just the way that it was worded, it was unclear exactly what I had to do. So maybe that's a reason why the tail is a little bit imperfect. But apart from that, it was a really good pattern. So I'm really glad that I bought it. I haven't used much yarn, to be honest. Let's move you. So to start off with, I had 7 grams of this, which I used for the body. So I've got 6 grams left, so I used approximately 1 gram. Of the brown, I started off with 25 grams. Now I've got 22 grams. So I've used 3 grams. So with the red, I've probably got enough to do the 4 robins. With the brown, I have enough to do a lot more. A lot more. So my maths is working. So that's 3 grams per robin. 22 grams divided by 3 equals. So it's enough to do 7 more robins, which I won't do that many. So the one I finished primarily will be for my nan, because she loves robins. I have just realised that I didn't stitch the little feet on, but I will do that in a minute and I'll show you afterwards. So yes, I'm really glad that I bought the kit. It was really nice to do. So it took me an hour and a half or just over, just to finish everything off. And apart from the comments that I've already made during this video about the tail, some of the instructions in it, the hook, apart from that I haven't got any more comments to make. So thank you very much for watching this video. This is not a sponsored video. I just wanted to make some robins. I'm making them as presents anyway, and I thought that I would bring you along for the journey. I will be making some more robins. I will be making the other 3, but I won't do it probably today or before this video is released, just because I've got other projects that I need to get on with, and I need to film some more videos for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will be catching you on weekdays during December for a video every day. Until next time, take care. Bye.